Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm David Kerr from Lansing in Michigan, and these are your latest news headlines from around the world. During this week's Wednesday general audience at the Vatican, Pope Francis prayed for the victims of Monday's devastating earthquake in southern Turkey and northern Syria. At present, the death toll stands at approximately 16,000 people. The Holy Father said his prayers went to those people in both countries affected by saying, with emotion, I pray for them and I express closeness to these towns and the families of the victims and to all those who suffer this devastating calamity. Pope Francis also expressed gratitude to those who are trying to bring relief to those affected. Finally, he concluded by seeking the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary by praying a Hail Mary for all those affected by this week's catastrophe. Meanwhile, the Pope's representative to Syria is urging the international community to provide urgent help as both this week's devastating earthquake and years of civil war have left the Syrian people, he says, in dire straits. Speaking to Vatican media, Apostolic Nuncio Cardinal Mario Zener said that the present situation in Syria will indeed be a test of humanity for the international community. During a visit to the city of Aleppo, he said that the fear of the people there was palpable. He added that people are not willing to return to their homes damaged by conflict, as they say their structures are unstable and risk collapsing at any time due to earth tremors. Separately, the chairman of the US Bishops' Committee on International Justice and Peace has expressed his grief over the loss of so many lives in Turkey and Syria. In a statement, Bishop David J. Malloy of Rockford called for prayers for all those who are affected and funds to help the humanitarian efforts in both countries. Brazil's top prosecutor says he's in favour of abolishing expressions such as father and mother in legal documents and replacing them with the terms filiation 1 and filiation 2. The suggestion by Prosecutor General Augusto Arras has already met with opposition from the Union of Catholic Jurists. Lawyer Maurizio Colonna of their San Paulo chapter says the Prosecutor General's proposals are yet another proposition that favours an ideology that doesn't meet objectivity of social facts, but the subjectivity with which individuals perceive and declare themselves. A missionary priest has been abducted in Haiti. On February the 7th, the Claretian congregation announced that Father Antoine Macaire Christian Noah was kidnapped by bandits that morning as he was on his way to his community in Kazel, 20 miles north of the capital Port-au-Prince. The congregation said on Facebook that the bandits are in touch with the superior of the community and have demanded a ransom for the release of the priest. Father Noah hails from Cameroon and is the vicar of St. Michael the Archangel parish in Kazel. The head of the organisation, which represents the bishops of the European Union, has expressed his support for the bishops of Nicaragua, where the church is currently being oppressed by the leftist Sandinista regime. In a letter addressed to his Nicaraguan counterpart, Cardinal Jean-Claude Hollerich told Bishop Carlos Enrique Herrera Gutierrez of his closeness and solidarity with the prelates in Nicaragua during these difficult times. In his letter, he also urged the Nicaraguan government to release Bishop Rolando Alvarez of Matagalpa, who is currently under house arrest, as well as other people who are detained after being falsely accused of subversion and propagating false news. A noted human rights organisation in Pakistan is raising the alarm over the state of religious freedom in the Muslim-majority country. The Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, or HRCP, raised their concerns in a new report entitled A Breach of Faith, Freedom of Religion or Belief in 2021-22. In the report that was released on Tuesday, HRCP say levels of persecution of minorities were worryingly consistent between July 2021 and June 2022. The report focuses on forced conversions to Islam and the vandalising of places of worship of minorities. In 2021 alone, the report notes there were 60 cases of forced conversion, of which 70% involved Christian and Hindu girls under the age of 18. The report also accuses the Pakistani government of changing the school curriculum in the country to ignore minority communities. In Spain, a new initiative named Rosario por la Juventud de España, or Rosary for the Youth in Spain, is inviting young people to take part in a Rosary recital in Madrid on Saturday, February the 11th. The president of the lay movement, Emilio Esteban Hanza, says that the objective of the initiative is to give a public demonstration of the Catholic faith, because he says each young person is called to bear witness to their Catholic faith. He added that the faith is a treasure that has to be handed on to everyone. During the Rosary, those gathered will pray especially for young people in Spain so that they renounce all evil ways. Last year, more than 3,000 young people took part in the prayer event in Madrid. 4 of Britain's most prominent pro-life organisations have written to the Scottish First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, to criticise proposed safe access zones around abortion facilities, describing them as illiberal, discriminatory and cruel. The zones would seek to criminalise anybody who peacefully prays or offers counselling to mothers seeking abortion. The letter was sent by representatives of the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children, March for Life UK, the Alliance of Pro-Life Students and the Cardinal-winning Pro-Life Initiative. In the letter, they blamed the Scottish Government for overlooking pro-life organisations when conducting 2 summits to discuss the topic of safe access zones. The Scottish Government has already given its backing to the legislation, meaning it should pass through the Scottish Parliament. Pope Francis has expressed his grave concern over human trafficking, which he says is growing at an alarming rate across the world. The Holy Father was speaking during the 9th International Day of Prayer and Awareness Against Human Trafficking, which took place on February the 8th. The Pope said that exploitation and enslavement make people objects to be used and thrown away. He exhorted young people to become missionaries of human dignity, saying, "Guard this light and you will be a blessing to other young people." It's estimated that almost 25 million people were victims of slave labour or sexual exploitation during last year alone. Christian lawyers in Spain are seeking the suspension of an abortion law case in the country's constitutional court, alleging that some of the judges lack impartiality. The Spanish Foundation of Christian Lawyers submitted the complaint before the Supreme Court, requesting the suspension of a plenary session during which the issue of abortion law is being discussed. They particularly object to the involvement of Justice Concepcion Espinel, who they say has a track record of publicly supporting abortion in previous public roles. Back to the US now, and the governor of the state of Arkansas has announced a new universal school choice plan. The Education Freedom Account will aim to permit parents to enrol children in whatever school they choose. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says that she hopes the new plan will be available to all families in 3 years. Finally, the Australian city of Adelaide will host its annual Walk for Life pro-life rally on Saturday. The rally will begin at the city's Pennington Gardens at 10 a.m. local time. The event is being organised by Love Adelaide. Prominent politicians and religious leaders are expected to participate. One of them will be Alex Antic, a senator from South Australia. Last year, close to 3,000 pro-life supporters took part in the event. Well, that's your latest headlines for now. Do join us for more tomorrow. You can also join us at swnews.org for news updates. Shalom.